In this video, I am going to talk about Assassin's Creed Mirage, The Valley of Memory. Now, it's not released at the time of me making this video, but I've gone viral playing Assassin's Creed Mirage multiple times on multiple platforms, including the one that you're watching me on right now. So, let's share my thoughts on The Valley of Memory. Now, first up, before I continue, I'd like to say thank you to Ubisoft for providing me with some assets for the DLC, some of which you will see throughout this video, including the thumbnail of the video where you can see that still of Basim. Yeah, Ubisoft gave me that so I could create the content from it. So, let's talk. Assassin's Creed Mirage The Valley of Memory is the latest DLC to Assassin's Creed Mirage, and the latest installation, the latest gap that is being filled in Basim's story. The reason why I say gap that is being filled is because if you're new to the Assassin's Creed franchise, you might want to know that Assassin's Creed Mirage takes place before the events of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We go back into Basim's past, into what Basim was doing in his time becoming an assassin in Baghdad. That's Assassin's Creed Mirage, but we're going into more of Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia is where the DLC is taking place, distinctively Saudi Arabia, in Al-Ula. I think that's how you pronounce it. Al-Ula? It might be Al-Ula, but it's a specific town, city area, an ancient area that is currently still standing. There are buildings from that area that are still untouched. It's a very sacred kind of historical landmark in Saudi Arabia. Now, there are other places like that in Saudi Arabia from my understanding of what I've seen, and I'm trying to explain as best as I can in terms of the context of how special this DLC actually is to the real world history that is still around today. Very, very important, because Assassin's Creed Mirage, as you know, fills gaps, much like the other Assassin's Creed entries, fills gaps in history, and there are stories to be told in those gaps in history, which is what Ubisoft is doing with Assassin's Creed. So you're getting not only a history lesson of the real world history, but you're also getting the entertainment of what the characters in this endless secret society struggle between the Templars and Assassins are doing, why they're doing what they're doing. Those who came before, all that stuff then unfolds, right? So that's what Assassin's Creed is. That's what we're doing in this time period. So what are my thoughts on this new DLC from what we've seen from Ubisoft, including some of the assets that you might be seeing throughout this video? Now, my thoughts on it as somebody who's gone viral playing Assassin's Creed Mirage is I want to see what it's like when I'm actually playing it. The reason why I say that is because Ubisoft developers will pick specific things to show you before the game is released. So there might still be quite a lot in this DLC that I haven't experienced myself visually from what we've been given. I haven't been able to play the game yet. So there are going to be things that I discover myself when playing that Ubisoft don't want to reveal to us yet. I always keep that in mind with these sorts of reveals. Sometimes, and very rarely, Ubisoft will show you absolutely everything from top to bottom, visual presentation, gameplay, and everything that has been added. Now, this is a DLC. We have very rarely, and I mean rarely, got a full breakdown of a DLC for any game entry from other game studios. Keep that in mind when we're breaking down the DLC here, downloadable content for this game. We very rarely get studios that are breaking down specifically a DLC. It's usually like a side passing. It's normally like, yo, we've got this game that's out, we got this that you can also download. Bing! And then it'll come up as an advertisement. That's usually how that works. But Ubisoft are taking their time to explain that this DLC is something special. They're breaking down the different gameplay elements that have been added, all of these different things. Some DLCs, even in the Assassin's Creed franchise, haven't had this care and attention paid to it. So I have to commend Ubisoft's efforts in giving us a breakdown of a DLC add-on to any game, because it's very well appreciated by the gaming community. I can speak on behalf of those gamers that will appreciate what's being given to us so far. So parkour is definitely going to have an improvement, which I think is very much appreciated from the community, because there were some hiccups with the parkour in Assassin's Creed Mirage before this update. There were some ledges that were causing more of an issue when they really shouldn't be, and it was looking unnatural in terms of the parkour of Basim in Mirage. Now, I say in Mirage because of course Basim is a character that has been in other parts of the franchise, and he is moving more like a shinobi in those gameplay entries. Now, throughout my gameplay of Assassin's Creed Mirage and the different things that I've shown you already that the throwing knife, the way he uses it, is more or less like a kunai. So story-wise, absolutely brilliant. We're getting a gap filled. We're getting a historical area that we have not yet explored in Saudi Arabia. We're getting more to Basim's story and an improvement to that gameplay, including parkour. We are potentially going to get different combat and stealth upgrades as well. As I said, Ubisoft haven't shown absolutely everything in terms of gameplay elements with the game add-on that we're going to get. We've got a few things, but they didn't touch on everything. So I'm yet to see what else has been improved, tinkered and changed, or if we're going to get those updates to those certain things. We haven't even seen an enemy type in this DLC. No enemy type has been given. I don't know if we're going to go up against a load of brutes. I don't know if when we're sliding down these dunes, we're going to get something that is not of this world. We don't know if it's going to be a, because some of the DLCs and other Assassin's Creed entries, we have pharaohs coming back to life. We've had different abilities, even Connor in Assassin's Creed 3. We've had Jack the Ripper. There's all these different, stories that have explored through DLCs that takes it into a different direction, where you have the main game story and then you have a different direction. Now, Basim is very unique because we're still exploring his past itself, so it intertwines more or less. DLC is literally his 100% canon story, and you can see that from what we got with Mirage, the main game. You could see from the ending and how things wrapped up and how things was. Basim's story is very much intertwined with his abilities, what he's capable of and what's going on with him. There's no deviation from, for example, in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but then you have Odin's story of Assassin's Creed Ragnarok. So you can go into that Odin story itself as if it's its own self-contained story. You get what I'm saying? But with this DLC with Basim, it's literally still his story that we're exploring because the main game wasn't as big. So we've got like part 1, part 2 right now. That's how I'm seeing it. Part 1, part 2. I'm seeing Valley of Memory like a part 2 to his main storyline that we've had so far in the past. Because remember, it connects to the other games in the franchise. Basim hasn't disappeared in Mirage. He's appeared in other game entries for Assassin's Creed. So we're getting all of this in this new add-on DLC to see how he became the Basim that we know from Valhalla. And then we might get some more connections to why he chose a direction that he did in Valhalla. Because he talks of his children, but we haven't seen them. We have Derwish making a return, and he goes to the dunes with him, to the valley. We don't know why. So we're going to get that story be filled in as well. So in terms of gameplay, I'm hoping for a lot more that we haven't seen. So hopefully I've wrapped up a lot of what I've tried to explain here. Story-wise, that'll be brilliant. It's part 2 of Mirage, part 2 of Basim's past. We're filling in a gap. We've still got a big gap to fill for him so we can understand Basim before he makes his choices that he does. We still have, things that are yet to be explored with him because he's still wandering around somewhere. Potentially because Mirage is one of those things where it looks like it's self-contained within the memory and we haven't gone outside of the Animus. We might be able to explore that. At the start of Mirage, if you remember, you have William Miles talking to you, and if you've played to the end of Valhalla, you know where the DNA from Basim comes from in order to go into the past. So we might get more of the real world story, which is missing in Assassin's Creed Shadows if you don't pay attention to what's happening in the codex, the menu, the rifts. Right, so I think I've wrapped up how I'm feeling about it. I would like to see more. We're kind of close anyway. I like the area that we're going to visit. Gameplay elements, there's not enough for me to dissect and show and really break things down. But hopefully this gives you a good idea of what we can expect from Assassin's Creed Mirage, or what we have left to look forward to.